Hello friends, my name's Ty and I'm going to read to you. Today's selection is going to be something a little different. It's an excerpt from the story Falling for Fangs by my good friend, the talented author and poet Ginger Lee. This excerpt is read with her permission, and if you want to find out more about her, you can find her at www.gleewrites.com. Here we go. Willa. Meeting Alder Hunt that night didn't come as a surprise to me. Dreaming about future events was something I had become used to. I knew I would meet him in the Endless Night Masquerade Ball, and I knew we were destined to become one. I mean, I know I'm a psychic, but maybe I am a witch? That's what my best friend Trace says. She often casually calls herself a witch because she reads tarot with an accuracy that's downright scary at times. These peculiarities that used to frighten me as a teenager have made us a decent living so far. Living in New Orleans doesn't hurt either. It's the perfect place for two fantastical females. Trace is able to do a lot of her work online, while I have a parlor of our garden district home set up like a circus sideshow, complete with vintage magician posters and crystal walls. It's about the ambiance when a patron enters to have the future told. We have lived in and run our own business from here since Trace's grandmother passed away, leaving her the house. The real magic happens when I'm asleep. My dreams are vivid and so detailed. I wake up often and write them down in a notebook beside my bed. I jot down descriptions such as clothing, hairstyle, and any distinguishing characteristics. This way, I know what dream goes with the person who walks through the door for a glimpse into their future, because I rarely get a name in my dream. Trace gets her information in real time, which I envy. I never get a good night's sleep, so I nap often. Okay, back to the good part. The mysterious vampire Alder Hunt. Sometimes I slip and call him Mr. Hunt, because he really is old. But his physical form is stuck at 40. He is perfect in my eyes. Tall, thick hair, a beautiful body that never requires a day of working out, and his handsome face. Alder's milk chocolate brown eyes that rest below inquisitive arched eyebrows drew me in like a magnet with the very first encounter. My dream held true even down to the gorgeous black lace gown I wore. I made sure my neck and shoulders were bare. Vampires do have weaknesses. The Endless Night Vampire Ball is a yearly masquerade event for real vampires, which are not undead immortal humans. Real vampires, or reals as Trace and I call them, are living people who need the energy of others to feel complete, known in the community as psychic feeding or psy-vamp. Some do dabble in deep feeding or bloodletting rituals, but that does not serve as our only sustenance. Others are hybrids and like to partake in both. A large group live here in New Orleans, while another is in Buffalo, New York. Alder, however, is a true vampire from old London. He and his brother Harris fled to the States after the Highgate situation at London Cemetery in the 70s. All of the humans here know who Alder and Harris Hunt are. Most are enthralled by the two and have welcomed them into the community. In all honesty, they are probably afraid not to. They frequent the local speakeasy and vampire bars and are content sipping drinks in the darkest corner. Women and men wish madly to be with them intimately, but no one is aware of who the secretive brothers choose as partners. Rumors swirl that Alder and Harris were also tantric and would be the ultimate experience for real vampires. Trace and I also have been welcomed into the community because the Psy-Vamps swear we give off an otherworldly energy. We just have to limit the amount of gift we give. We just have to limit the amount we gift them. It leaves us pretty drained after, but makes for quite an interesting and enjoyable weekends. Alder Hunt has never paid me much attention before the masquerade. I would watch him glide through a room oozing sex appeal as he and Harris eventually settled into the shadows. His eyes always held mine for a brief moment, and an unexplained jolt made my heart skip every time. When I woke from the dream about Alder, my skin burned, and my soul felt a need I couldn't describe. An excitement coursed through my being, but the dream had left me without knowing how Alder responded. That made it more intense. What made it more intense was the fact that the ball started in less than 2 hours. Usually, I had more time to process the dreams I had about my own life. Trace sat on my bed, listening to me try and explain as I dressed and tied my long dark, blonde hair and a low, loose ponytail. She had no desire to go to the masquerade, as she had a long list of clients lined up for the evening. I paused at the door to our house, and Trace hugged me tight. "You look amazing. The reels will be all about you tonight. Keep your cool, whatever Alder says. Oh, and have fun." The upper echelon outfits drifted all around as I entered the House of Blues, and my mood immediately lightened. I enjoyed the motifs garb the best because I've always had a thing for anything steampunk or Victorian. Since I wasn't a true practicing member of the community, I dressed black on black. A long, fitted and strapless black lace gown with a corset tied in the back. A familiar face found me in the crowd. My friend, a gorgeous reel named Micah, who I have gifted my energy to many times before and share most of my secrets with. He and Trace really know who I am and what I can do. He offered me an arm and escorted me to the bar. Micah didn't wear a mask because he loves showing off his perfect face, and the guy liner he wore was on point for the evening. He is a legit model. Mid-length, blonde wavy hair, tan skin stretched over taut muscle. He has millions of Instagram followers and several modeling contracts. We admittedly are attracted to each other, but mutually agreed our friendship to be too important to fuck up with sex. "You, my dear, look ravishing. Where's Trace?" "You know her, not up for a big party. She's busy with clients tonight anyway. I am in desperate need of a bloodbath," I dramatically added. "Of course," he winked and smiled as he ordered for me. The signature cocktail of the ball was a dark red and delicious, and it made me buzzed enough to ease my nerves. I sensed a change in the room and watched Alder Hunt walk in alone and proceed to tip his top hat to everyone as he made his way to a small table. He sat facing us and simply stared. My friend noticed me tense up a bit. "Darling, what has gotten into you all of a sudden? You look like you've seen a wraith." He ordered me another drink as I fidgeted with my pearl earring. I tried my best not to glare back at Alder. "I had a dream about the ball," I whispered. Micah took my hand and felt my mood flowing out of my palm. "Come with me, Willa. Let's sit over there in the corner. Just give me 5 minutes and tell me about this dream that has you all flustered." He took both our glasses, and I kept glancing over to see that Alder never broke his focus. He removed the top hat and leaned back into the velvet seat to observe. As soon as we were at our own little booth, Micah leaned in and kissed my lips. Then he took my hand again, and my energy. "Do tell. I know he was watching. That's why I kissed you. He has his eye on you, which probably means he wants you, Willa. It doesn't hurt to make him a little jealous. I would do terrible things to spend an evening with Alder Hunt." Micah smiled wickedly. It sounded like a good plan to me. He put an arm around my shoulders and scooted even closer. He smelled my neck, and I have to admit, it felt good. I heated up quickly, and my words came out a bit slurred. "Alder was in my dream," Micah purred. "Mm-hmm." He came to me. We were alone in a dark room, and I told him I was to be his. My eyes fluttered closed, and my friend placed kisses behind my ear. When I opened them, Alder had disappeared, and I pulled my hand from Micah's. He fell against the plush seat, smiling. "Did that do the trick?" "He's gone. I'm going to find him. It's time." Trace. My poor pen. My poor teeth. I had to stop chewing my pen. For some reason I was on edge. Maybe it was me wondering what Willa was up to, or it was the fact that every time I picked up my tarot deck, the same 3 cards fell face up on the floor. Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, the Lovers. This happened 3 times this afternoon, and I could assume it was about Willa. But my gut told me they were meant for me. I jumped out of my skin at 3 loud knocks on the door. 3. Again. I wrapped my long black cardigan tight around myself as I went towards the door. I hated being here alone after dark. Whoever stood on the other side couldn't see in. That much I was sure of. I gasped as one eye peered out of the peephole. Harris Hunt ran a hand through his dark hair, then crossed his arms over that broad chest. What in the hell was he doing here? Why wasn't he at the ball? Should I open the door for a vampire? "Miss Davies, I'm here to see you." His deep voice vibrated in my chest as though he stood right next to me. I froze. Trace? I flipped the lock, finally took a breath, and cracked the door open. Are you here for a reading? I usually do them online, and you have to have an appointment. I was actually telling a vampire he had to have an appointment. He could push his way in and drain me dry if he wanted. Harris retrieved a piece of paper from his black motto jacket and handed it over. It looked like he had either found it in the gutter or the trash. I plucked it from him with just my fingertips, and he grinned at the disgusted look on my face. I don't hide my feelings well. Wait, where did you find this? We distributed this 2 years ago. How I just have it, and I wanted to make the offer. You and Willa shouldn't be living here alone, especially letting strangers in at night. Well, we got a few responses, but the Psy-Vamps who answered wanted too much of our energy. The only other true vampire we knew went missing after a week of moving in with us. Can I come in, please? I shook my head. Of course, I'm sorry. Come in. The scent of vanilla wafted in my nose as he strode by and went straight to the kitchen, like he had been here before. He sat on a stool at the island, and I started a pot of coffee. I motioned to an empty mug. Yes, actually. It's not for nutrition. We eat and drink for pleasure. Our taste buds work just fine, and there are so many delectable flavors in the world. His eyes scanned me from my toes to the top of my head, and I licked my lips without even noticing. He quickly changed the subject. Why don't you tell me what you and Willa do? I hope you enjoyed that excerpt, and if you want to read more, once again, go and visit my friend Ginger at gleewrites.com. And once again, thanks for being here with me.